Yep. Pocket later. Or you can shoot the 9, shoot the 10 all the way up, and then come over underneath and possibly get a window so you can get the 6 ball out of the way if it goes past the 1. He's looking at now.
All right, guys. Welcome if you just tuning in. Had some little audio issues there, but hopefully everybody should hear us loud and clearly now. So I'm Jake Lawson. I'm in the booth with Sean Wilkie, and we are watching Darren Appleton versus Marco Teutscher.
How you guys doing? We're in rack number 2. Marco is up 14-0. Darren had the initial break off, and Marco made a good shot from the back rail. The 9 in the bottom right corner, and he's been at the table ever since. He's looking to try to get an angle here. If he makes the 10 all the way up, get an angle on the 6 in the bottom right corner, or possibly the 1 ball. And then you can draw back into, if he can make the 1, he can draw back into the 12 with some speed. Jostle these balls out a little bit, and he should have the 2 or 6 or something possibly. That works. Came up table, and now he's got the 3 ball in the corner, but that could be his break shot, so if he can maneuver around these, he'd like to. Don't think the 2 ball is out of the rack area. If it was, you could shoot the 3 and bump the 12 down into the 6. Have the 13 in the side. You can shoot the 3, come up here and get the 7 out of the way, come back down to middle table, have the 15 in the corner, and the 13 in the right corner, and then come over and try to get the 2 and 6 out of the way, because the 12 ball won't go in the left corner until you get the 2 ball out of the way.
Sean, do you know anything about Marco? Have you had the opportunity to?
Not that much. I've seen him a couple times play overseas, a few of the live streams like on YouTube and stuff, and definitely a great player from what I see. He's beat some big names. He's capable, just like many of us here at this tournament, to win any match at any time. So obviously I'll be on the lookout and watch his play just in case we play later, you know.
Oh, sure,
so,
absolutely.
Really excited about this tournament. I'm always happy to be here for the American Straight Pool. Peter Burris, Andy Lincoln, Michael Frank, all these guys, they really go the extra mile every year to get the added money for this tournament. And you know, it's a gentleman's sport because we're playing straight pool. We're dressing classy, you know. It's always nice to see. And you can see the support. We got all these big names here, so they obviously enjoy it too.
Been all Marco so far.
Yep. Hard to tell if he can pinch the 12 and bump it out and have the 2 ball next. That's what he tried to do, and that worked. Yep. Yeah, if you notice, anybody out there doesn't play a lot of straight pool, you always want to go into the ball and have the cue ball at least come off 6 to 8 inches, because then it gives you a lot of leeway and room to have a shot later. If you try to just bump into it and land on it, now you could be jacked up or have no shot. So just pay attention to that when you're at home practicing. Plus, it kind of helps your speed. It's kind of like going into a rail and back off a 9 ball where you don't want to leave yourself on a rail. Goes to come above the 3. Good shot. It's got 13 in the opposite corner. Have the 12. He's just had to leave himself an angle so he can get above the 3 for the break shot, or he could leave the 12 too, depending on where he lands the cue ball right now. It's a good thing about having 2 or 3 break ball options. You You can pick and choose what do you want to do later in the rack.
Like leaving here last.
It depends on his angle really he has right now on the 13. I like the 12 because it's closer to the rack. But see how he was kind of straight, so he just took his angle. Now he's got an easy shot on the 12 to come up for the 3. Yep.
He's just looking exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, they always say you either want to be right on the plane of where the 3 is, like if you're directly going down to the diamond, to the bottom rail, or to the left side of that, because then you have enough angle. And if you landed on the right side of this, now you have a shallow angle, and you would have to use more velocity on your stroke, and you're not going to get a lot of momentum out of the rack. But now the cue ball is just naturally going into it, so you can use high English most of the time. It varies on inside or outside. That comes with a player's tendencies, but most of the time, as long as you're using high English, you go into the rack, and then it comes back, and it goes right back, stays in that area. Got to be careful drawing these shots because then you come up table and you may not have a shot.
Good point. Of course, all these tables are just recovered, so you know we may see that come into play a little bit this week.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be tricky for a lot of us to start the first couple days, but after we get used to it, it's if you use like a medium stroke. Oh, cue ball came across it, scratched in the side pocket. All right, well, Marco made the break ball but scratched, so he's going to be on a foul. And he'll spot the ball, and then Darren has ball in hand behind the line. Sorry guys, we're trying to get the score properly set up We got a new system that we're getting accustomed to, and we got the creator of it sitting back here helping us. So
yeah, it's great.
looking to make it a little bit easier on our end to add balls every time they make them, which is different than we're used to in the past. Usually we can do after each rack, but this new system is set up differently and it's working well. We're just getting used to it, so hold tight. But we're on track now. We got 27-5 because Marco made the break shot but scratched across side, unfortunately, and now Darren's at the table.
See, Darren's still got a little work to do here. Probably develop some of these shots.
Yeah, he's got to get the 2 and the 8 out eventually. Got 2 nice break balls with the 15 or the 11. You shoot the 9, if he's got a slight angle, he can come up into him now because he'll have the 5, 11, or the 15, whatever he wants afterwards. Chooses not to. It looks like maybe the 8 goes on the side. It's hard to tell from our angle, but from where he left the cue ball, it's obvious it does. And then he'll stop it and have the 5 ball in the opposite corner. Really no issues now, just picking his pattern to get out. Just make sure you get a nice angle on the 4 ball on this side rail. So you can either come straight back up to middle table or follow around depending on what you want to do.
He probably likes the 15 ball here for his break ball, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a little bit closer to the rack, so it would be nice. He'd have to have a steep angle on the 11 or a shallow angle to force it over to the rack. The 15 is better.
Found Sean, once a player gets started on a run, I mean, all these guys here in this event, I mean, you're just looking to clear out the rack, right? 125 and done.
I mean, obviously it would be nice to run 125 on somebody, but it's tricky. You know, depending on. Looked like Marco, obviously, for instance, was playing great, but he got that unfortunate scratch in the side. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times where a player can run 70, 80, and then all of a sudden a scratch on the break. Like I was saying earlier, I mean, best thing we can do as a player is just try not to miss the easy shots and give the table back. I mean, if you get a scratch, that's what happens. You know, you move on. He's going to go around 3 rails. I always like that opportunity better because you take away the scratch cross side, especially with new cloth. Got to be careful with it skidding.
Always had 2 balls sitting out there, and Darren sure that he's in good position. Play this 2. A little steep here on the 5, but he should be okay.
Good.
Side English holds the ball, comes up for a nice angle on the 2. This should lead.
Looks like a stop shot, and then right there on the 15. Worked out good. One more. Good job, Jake. You're getting used to it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's I could say Pascal is a mad genius because there's so many intricacies with this 14.1 engine. So it's really unbelievable. But this is our first time using it, so hopefully as the week goes on, get a little bit more acclimated with it.
Sounds good.
Both players just discussing to make sure that they get the score correct.
Yeah, we as players, we also have a paper sheet on our side along with the scoreboard, so you write it down, especially when you have a foul, because if, say you did 2 fouls in a row, you would have -2, and then obviously in straight pool, if you have 3 fouls in a row, you lose 3 points, plus 15 balls, so you actually are minus 18. And then the other player, actually the same player, re-racks the balls and comes up to the top of the table and does like the initial break from the beginning. Anybody out there that's new to the stream and just started to watch, we're playing a race to 125 in all of our round robin matches here. We have 7 players in each group, 6 groups total, which we have 42 players. And we're going to play the next 3 days today and the next 2 days, all the group matches, and the top 24 players will advance into the money rounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. So we were just talking about this the other night. Every player is going to play 6 times no matter what.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And then after that round robin format, everybody would go into
Top 24
top
bracket.
24.
Yep. We'll have the top 8 seeds getting a bye, and then everything else will be seeded accordingly. Darren, because he had a more shallow angle, he chose to draw into the rack and then come up table instead of going down, because sometimes when you use high English you can get double kisses and scratch in a corner, so it's more safe to come up table. Marco's got to be careful here. I don't know how much Darren's been playing. I know he took a little time off recently within the last year or two, but I know I commentated one time in New York with my buddy Mike Fingers, and we're part of history. Actually, we commentated a run of 200 by Darren Appleton.
Wow.
In New York when he won the championship up there. So we easily could see 125 and out here. Darren stays composed and controls the new cloth. He's got a good angle here on the 9 or the 6, and then he can send the cue ball back into the stack. Open these balls up some. Looking to see if he shoots the 6 where the cue ball's going into. So if he can get into the 11 or at least the top of the 2 where the cue ball's coming across.
Right.
You want to hit this with some speed, because if you don't, you're not guaranteed too much. Looks like he's hitting it with middle right. Okay, he got away with it. He's got the 4 on the side now. Unless the 10 ball goes past the 1. He could also shoot that and come up into the 7 or the 12, and then he'd have the 1 ball next. Obviously, you would like to hit the 7, because if you hit the 12, you can land behind the 7. He's looking at simple shots, the 4 on the side, and then come back. Now he has the 7 or the 12. If you can make the 12, it's okay to draw back into the 15. It looks no 13 and 11 of the 7. Oh, came up in between him. He's got the 8 ball though. That's good. I'm a little nervous shooting those shots sometimes, because if you stick on the 11, now you're jacked up shooting the 8. But it looks like he's okay.
Relatively easy to get stuck or have to be jacked up shooting, and now he's just going to have to roll this in a little bit.
Oh, it's got enough speed? Yep, just enough. I think he was fortunate enough there to have it. He had about half of the cue ball, so it was not as touchy as it could have been.
I always feel when you're tendency to miscue is certainly a lot higher.
Yeah, because your stroke speed has to be so much softer.
Yeah.
Well, as Darren's running out, I'll mention a couple of his sponsors. We have, he's obviously with Predator Qs, Rasson Billiards, and Q World. Of course, he's multiple world champion. He was 2014 straight pool champion, which was down here in Richmond, Virginia. Actually, Midlothian, Virginia, at Diamond Billiards. And also, he was the 2-time world 9-ball champion.
Yeah, I mean, Darren, obviously very accomplished player. Everybody knows who he is. Took a little time off. He was involved in the World Pool Series, played in that event, and Darren's back on the scene playing full time.
Yeah, it's good to see him back out here playing. He's a very solid player, and especially if you pay attention to his fundamentals. That's what I truly believe that keeps his cue ball in line. You know, he's going to stay down on the ball and execute and get that cue ball through the shot. Now you see there, he had to hold because of his angle. He didn't want to go into the 11, so he had to hold there and just take this longer shot on the 2. He's going to try to come back to right around middle table. Give himself a nice angle on the 11. He came a little bit too far, it looks like. He might be okay, but it's going to be really, really shallow. Puts Darren at 28 balls, so he's had took advantage of Marco's scratch off of the break shot. And now he's ran the next 2 racks.
Did his score yet?
They probably just adjusted it on the piece of paper. That's what they were talking about a minute ago with the foul. I don't think anybody really looked at the score tab, but it is 28 to 27. I can't tell if Darren's really straight on this ball, or he's got, even if he has a shallow angle, he's got to force it and just try to break out 1 or 2 balls. Yeah, I knew he was really straight, so he ended up missing the ball in the corner. Yeah, Darren just fixed the score on their end. Because of the foul by Marco, he's at 27 instead of 28.
So you can see that Darren got really, really straight on his break shot, and he really had to force it in there. And these pockets are just not really forgiving.
No, they're not. Even the new cloth helps, but at that speed, when you catch a facing, you know, it's going to come out. The only other thing he could have done there, which obviously he's trying to continue his run, that's why he shot that.
Sure.
The only other thing you can do is shoot the ball, follow down, play it safe off the rack, and then try to get back to the table. But he's going to leave Marco with an opening here. It's hard to tell, but if the 11 ball goes past the 13, that would be real nice for his next shot. Because then he can have the cue ball draw off of the 9, break these balls out a little bit, come back, have the 2 ball on the side, or probably opportunity at some balls over here on the right side of the table where the 6 is. That's what he's going to shoot. This is like middle right, a little bit of stun. See how he's got the spin on it? Which, if you notice, a lot of players do that to play a lot of straight pool. Because if, say, you're about to be frozen on a ball,
right,
the spin will cause you not to be frozen. It'll glance off at the last minute. I learned that through some unbelievable, unlucky shots. I thought they were, but I kept sticking myself. And then I watched like my favorite players like Ralph Souquet, Niels Fyan, and such, and I'm like, I wonder why they're spinning the ball. So I tried it at home, and it started working, and I didn't get stuck anymore. Makes a lot of sense. I call it spin around object, and you don't get frozen.
Yeah, nice open shot here. By taking that 11 ball, he's Open up the whole pack. Just has to work a little bit. You see the 5 and the 7's tied up.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if did he come up far enough to have a shot on the 3? Can he get through that gap? I think that's what he was trying to do. Did. There's not a lot of opportunities down there with, like, the 12 and 4 are tied up slightly. The combo's not straight. He's got some work to do.
Nothing's more frustrating when you come to the table and get quite where you want to be, but luckily he's got a shot here on the 2-ball.
Now he's got the 10. If he wants to, he can come across and just tap this 5-7. They'll break apart easily. And then he'll have the 14 or the 3 in the corner. Even if it goes down low, I think he can make the 8. That's what he did. Just bump that. Now you got the 3. Looking at possibly maybe shooting 8. He has the 8. He can just go to the side rail. He can have the 1 or the 9 next in the side where he's at. Oh, whoa. Yeah, that's what he did. Nice shot. Now see how that opens up the 1 ball. He don't have an easy break. He has an opportunity with all these balls behind the rack to use a behind the rack break shot, which is okay. If you leave a good angle and behind the rack break shot, you actually disperse the balls nicely up table. You just have to be careful with controlling the cue ball. I actually really like the break, but a lot of opportunities you don't get the balls to lay in the right spot back there. The conventional break from the right or the left side is 90% of the shots we're going to see. He's going to shoot the 7. I think he's still trying to maybe break these balls, bump into the 4 and 12, or you can come straight across, bump the 5, and then you can have the 14. Then you can bump the 4 or 12 next. When I run into it, it looks like the 5 ball goes past the 3. It was hard to tell if that did. Yeah, it does. Yep. Now you can shoot the 14 and bump the 4 or the 12. It's actually safer to bump the 12 because then you have the 4 or the 3 next. Like that. Now if you notice how he bumped the 12 not too hard because it could have came up and tied up the 3.
Teutscher here.
He might be trying to... I was going to say he could have maybe came up and bumped the 11 closer, higher for the break shot. Guess he's okay with the 11. It looks like it's going to be tricky. Barely going to hit the corner ball. Left side of the rack.
Sometimes you just have to take what the table's giving you, right, Sean?
Yeah. You don't want to try to force anything because then you get yourself in trouble.
Ends his lead. Appleton.
Yeah, Marco has come from all the way overseas. He's from the Netherlands. His sponsors are Molinari Cues, Force Sport, Massey Club in New Zealand. And they got a small gesture in the book. Peter Burris, he actually has a program here that's really nice for the players, and I like how it helps us in the commentating booth. And it says he likes his support from his Miss Stephanie. I'm guessing that's his girlfriend or wife. Says that it helps with her patience.
Yep. Got a little unfortunate here on the break shot.
Yeah, I missed the shot. I was looking at what happened. Did he go? Did he cue ball follow through the stack? Be
It
at the
came
corner
off.
of the stack and follow through?
15 ball came all the way up table and then back down, and now
Oh, wow.
it's blocked him from.
Oh, it looks like, yeah, you might be right. If it don't go, it might go past. Because if not, he'd been forced to play that 3-ball combo. Yep, it does go past. They got away with it.
Five and 9. Take a look now. Got on the 4 ball to.
Yeah,
be
they're
able
trying to
break
go
that
back
out.
into those couple balls there in the middle.
It can be a little dangerous, right, Sean? Because he's got a lot of balls down still at the bottom of the table.
He does, yeah. So if you do that too early, you can tie those back up down there. It'd be nice if he can get the 15 out of the way and the 7 before he does that, because, like you were saying, he could cause problems. I think if you're going to run into the 12, you just run into it really easy, and then you got the 15 next. Make sure you stay on the left side of the 12. Like that. Now he has the 15. Good point you pointed out there, Jake. If you go into him too much, you're putting so much cluster down there to the bottom rail.
Sure,
You
yeah.
never know what's going to happen.
By going too hard to spread him even further out, because you don't know
What the cue ball is going to do.
exactly.
Looks like he's got a good angle here. The 6 ball goes past the 11. He's just going. A lot of times when you have, say 5 to 8 balls down the bottom rail, you want to go down there before you start your pattern. Make sure which ones go past others,
Sure.
because then you know where you can leave your cue ball. So 6 goes past. Obviously the 7 goes in the left corner. The 10 can't go into the left corner until the 7's out of the way. These are a lot of things you need to know so you don't get yourself in trouble.
Marco playing very sound right now. Early scratch. Stay ahead of Darren Appleton so far.
Let me mention a couple of our sponsors. Also, of course, we have the BSN Network. Thank you a lot, Jake, for your hard work and everybody behind the scenes. We got Iwan Simonis. Dennis Walsh. He's an attorney and has always been a supporter of this tournament throughout the years for Peter. Obviously, Billiards Digest. Got the Predator Group. Q Masters Billiards. This is our venue here down in Norfolk, Virginia. Obviously, Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'd like to recognize a couple names just that are local sponsors back home. A guy named John Lavin, Richard Glein, Peter and Sandy Sears, and Rebecca Snow Burrows. So, like I said before, Peter and them go out all year to get this extra money. I believe we have $30,000 added to this event, so
Wow.
something you don't see too often. So we just want to give our support. Oh, watch the kiss off the 9. Oof. I think he was trying to go past them balls, and he got the kiss. Now he could be in trouble. Be forced to shoot a combo, or maybe, I don't know, can he go rail first and play the 10? Can he get past the 7? It's hard to tell. Trying to look down just to see what his lineup is.
Of course. Made it even harder by landing on the rail there.
Yeah. Well, he got fortunate not to scratch in a corner, so he's just got to take what he has here and try to keep his run going. Nice shot. He got the combo to go. You'd like to mention a couple of your sponsors for your stream, Jake?
Yeah, we'll run through them after the.
Middle of the rack.
Yep.
Okay.
Another combo.
Yeah. Well, he's got the 14 as the break, obviously. Looking to see if the 9 ball goes past the 11 because he can shoot the 12 next if the 9 ball goes past. If not, he might have to just come to the other side of the 14, play the 8 in the side, and then play the 11. So that opens up the pocket for the 9. Be convenient if he can leave the 8 ball as his key ball, but if he can't, if the 9 ball does not go past the 11, probably going to have to shoot it next. Good shot. He came across. Now he has the 11. He can still save the 8 for his key ball to get to the break shot. Yeah, it's in a nice spot. It went a little long. Oof, you got to go around 3 rails, but the thing is, in straight pull, you know that angle you're trying to land on is so small. So going around 3 rails, he's actually coming across the angle instead of into it. So I mean, obviously he can get there, but it's a lot harder than what he planned. He wanted it to just be straight or a small angle on 8, and then you could follow to the side rail and come up. Now he's going to have to go around 3 rails.
Yeah, you can even see.
Yeah. And the only other thing you can do is...
Oh, he's queued up inside, Sean.
Can he hold it? Now he forced it around. Let's see where he lands. Hit it good. Nice speed. It's a good recovery from where, you know, I'm sure he came off of his plan slightly with that key ball, but what it takes, you know, this guy's obviously a pro caliber player, so when it comes down to it, and you got to make a shot sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
That puts him on a 2-rack run, so he's tied with Darren with the 28 ball run in this match, and he's at 55 balls to 28. Race to 125. This is the first year that we're doing the 125 in the round robin brackets. It used to be 100, and we're also adding a match, so all players will be playing 6 matches in order to try to qualify for the final 24. Can't beat that opportunity. You pay $300 and you get to play 6 matches, a race to 125.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice shot. I like how he forced it with the straight high there and harder, because I remember his last break, even though he had a steeper angle, he used the high but not enough, and it's caused him to scratch cross side. If he would have used extra high, he would have never got the scratch cross side, just like he got there on that break.
Lots of spread here on the balls. Has a little bit of issues there. 2, 11, and 3 are a little tied up, but he's got plenty of opportunity to be able to develop those balls, Sean.
Yeah, he's got plenty of chances. I mean, he can shoot the... I would take the 15 out right away. It's right there. Gonna go over and get the 5. You should get the 10 out of the way too right away if you want, because then it opens up the pocket for the 11. Like to lose the 11 or the 3 to come back up into this stack of balls. Oh, he had the angle to go into him there. That's very safe because he has the 5 and the 10 as insurance balls, they like to call them. So if you go into the rack, if you were to get stuck on a ball, you have open balls afterwards.
Sure. Now this straight ball obviously plays a little bit differently. I mean, each player is really trying to play for one shot, wouldn't you say? I mean, He's not playing for multiple
Most of the
shots.
time, yeah. I mean, you're playing for one shot to have a guaranteed shot next. But sometimes when you're going into the rack like that, you do have two opportunities, but it varies. Styles are hard to judge. We don't know. We don't really know what they're thinking,
Sure.
in the end. All we can do is use our eyes and watch and learn from that for the future to try to estimate what another player might do.
A straight pull, one of the oldest games.
Yeah,
Round.
it is. It's actually a very good game. I wish we had more tournaments. I'm happy we still have at least two, with the Charlie Williams running the World Straight Pull, and then we have Peter running the American Straight Pull now. The history of this tournament is very...
Oh,
wow,
no.
looks like that ball might have skidded a little bit. It used inside. We have 3, 6, 9, 10 left on the table, so we made 5.
Characteristic miss there by Marco.
Yeah, it really was. He used that soft inside, and you got to be cautious doing that. It happens to a lot of us, but it did seem like he got a small skid. I thought the ball still was going to go, actually.
Wow, Darren back at the table here, Sean.
Yeah, Darren's happy for this opportunity.
We talk about all the time when we're playing any other of pool about sitting and being cold and coming to the table, but this game in particular, you could be sitting for a very long time.
Yes. All you can do is do your best to be mentally ready, and hopefully you have an easy shot to start with when you get to the table.
That miss by Marco. Darren's got a wide open table here for him.
Like he's going to try to... that was a nice shot. He bumped the 6 over, so now he has the 9 or the 6 as a break opportunity. Wanted to, he can try to leave the 8 ball on this side rail. That gives him a great...
Guys, we have some great matches coming up on the stream table this afternoon. There's going to be 3 matches today. Of course, Darren and Marco. Next match will be Thorsten Holman. Seekinen. Nighttime match at 6 p.m. will be Albin Ocean versus Ruslan Chernohov, so that'll be
Very
an
nice.
exciting match.
I believe this is Albin's first time at this tournament, so it'd be exciting to watch him play straight pull. Most of the people, of course, is out there watching him is a fan of Albin's. Most of it has been rotation, so it'd be fun to watch him play a different discipline.
Yeah, it's always interesting seeing some players that obviously favor, rotation games, and have certain players like Thorsten who really prefers,
Straight pull.
straight pull.
John Schmidt's here. He obviously performed straight pull. He just broke Willie Mosconi's record, which is one hell of a feat. Congratulations to him. Obviously, he is a big favorite in this tournament. But,
626.
yeah,
I mean,
with the names we have, though, regardless if you're a favorite or not, we have at least, I would say, 15 to 20, maybe 25 guys who can win this tournament if they're in rare form.
sure.
As we were speaking of that, let me just mention a couple names that we have here. We have Lee Van Corteza, Dennis O'Culloh, David Alcady, Johnny Archer, Danny Baruti. A lot of people know him. Older, used to live in New York, now lives out on the West Coast. We got Max Eberle, Ralph Eckert, Thorsten Holman, Niels Fan, Bobby Hunter, Mika Eminen, got some other big names. Alex Pagaline, as we said, Albin Ocean.
Yeah, Ralph Souquet is here.
Ralph Souquet is here.
Johnny Archer.
Yep, Leaving Corteza. I think I said that already. Obviously, we got the 2 players here on the TV stream.
Niels is here.
Yep, Niels is here. So, I mean, there you go right there. I mean, that's at least 20 that we went through, so.
Just star-studded event all week, folks. Please make sure you're sharing the stream.
Because we're going to have great matchups throughout the day.
And of course, your first match, you mentioned Mika. You'll be playing him.
I think it's going to be later today. I don't know the exact time yet. There's to help out with getting the names out, and I saw you needed a man in the booth.
No,
So I'm doing that for now. We'll figure out my matches later.
Absolutely.
He got straight on this 6 ball. He's got to get to the 8 to get. Oh wow, what a shot! He actually might have overdrew this into this. Wow, he got nice.
What a shot there by Darren Appleton.
He's very happy to not scratching his side. Now see here, he's actually got a really shallow angle. Now on new cloth, these shots are tough because he's got to get out to at least parallel with this 9, because if not, he's gonna have a steep cut. Nice force. He got as much as he could out of it. Looking over just to make sure we got the score right also on their end. $760 it should be. Yep, they got it.
Quick look at this instant replay.
This draw stroke?
Oh, yeah, actually, it didn't. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Yeah, I could tell he needed to get into it nicely because he got so straight on that ball.
Not an easy shot, 9-foot tables. All 3 rails on the draw stroke, but
no, it's not.
hit it great.
Now here, because he's so steep on this ball, a lot of players, you don't want to hit this with draw. He should just hit this with straight high, maybe high inside a touch, but not a lot. You know, I'm just talking like a half a tip, because when it goes into the 8, you kind of want the cue ball to go with the rack and push it over, and then have the cue ball maybe come 2 rails and out. Looks like he's actually ramping up to draw this ball. No, there we go. Straight high. Let it come through the rack, and cue ball's going to come right off. Oof, he didn't hit it hard enough. Looks like, does he have a shot on the 14? Maybe this the steep angle sometimes, you know, and I do this as well. You know, sometimes we let up on our stroke because we want to make sure we make the cut also. Hard to tell, especially being that close to the 14. I don't know if he can get to another. He's got just enough angle to come up above the rack. Get straight. Gonna have to force draw this one again, unless he has a combo. Rack, I can't tell. That's what he's looking for. If not, we might see our first safety of the match. You can always follow down and then try to clip a ball. About to where he would have to play you safe back. He's gonna try to draw all the way back with some spin and get the 15 ball next. Enough.
God.
Got enough. You don't want to do too much here. You're just going to play the 15, have it bump the 7 over to the left, and have the 7 or the 3 on the side next. Oh, Got away with it. He actually hit the 7 on the way in, but still made the 15. Now we're gonna have our first safety to match, I predict. Probably just gonna skim the 3, come down to the bottom rail, and have the cue ball come back up into the 13. Try to freeze him on the back of the rack. I mean, obviously you would leave a bank on the 7, but most of the time players are not going to play a bank in straight ball because the smarter shot next would be another safety.
Off shot, and he knows it. He can take it his head there.
I know exactly what happened there. The new cloth caused the ball to slide more than expected when you have to go long table, and it probably slid slightly on him to the left, and he barely nipped the 7 on the way in. Very nice. We just got a update on the software. What do we just have there, Jake?
Players' countries.
Very nice. I like that.
Country flag. So just so much information here with the 14-1 engine by Pascal.
Darren just played a safety. Did you get that down? Went for the bank. Knew he was going to leave it. You know, Darren didn't really have any other safety he could do. Now he can play the 12. Looks like the cue ball is going to flip either the 14 straight on or maybe to the right side of it. Now here, it's actually pretty safe if you want to draw this ball. Can see where the 3 ball is?
Yeah.
Say you hit the 4 and you were to draw it, the 3 is going to save the cue ball from scratching in the side. So you can just glance in and draw this off. He actually shot it with high and it went straight through. Oof. Worked out that he's got these 2 balls in the corner. He can play a combo. He's also got the 4 ball in the side pocket. Still gonna have to break out the 1-6-8.
I mean, you know, really, you could play the combo here. You know, Sean, if he plays the combo here, he could probably run into the 1-6-8.
He could, as long as you don't go too hard into it. Because sometimes if you go hard and you hit the bottom of the 1, you can scratch in the other corner. As long as you play it at good speed, that's a fine shot. Because you're gonna have the 11 ball next. Ooh,
Exactly.
11 ball went in too.
Wow.
Well, now looks like the 2 and 3 are in the rack. Might be forced to play that 6 ball as a break, which is not bad because he's got the 13 ball there as a key ball. Get to the 6. Now he's just got to maneuver around these balls in the middle. Got the 8 in the corner. 1 in the other corner. You could play the 4 in the side next too if you wanted to come up a little bit.
Definitely gonna start here with the 8.
Now, obviously, if he was straight in, you could just stop it and play the 3 in that side next,
Sure.
but he's not. He had too much angle, so he's forced to come up above. Take the 13 out now.
Actually better, right? Because hide and figuring out what he wants to do.
Looks like he has a shallow angle. He can actually follow down 2 rails, come up to the right side of the 6, and have the 1 or the 4 next. I think he has enough angle. It's hard to tell.
Now, are you thinking you're going to use your 6 here for your breakout, or are you going to try to maybe push something into a spot.
It depends on how you land on the next ball. I mean, you can try to push the 2 out, but see if you do, the cue ball lands behind the 3.
Sure.
You could get in trouble. So you probably are forced to leave the 6 as your break. Just tap these balls out. Get over there somehow with an angle on your cue ball. Love to have slightly more angle on this. I know that's what he's thinking right now. Because if, say you were to follow down straight and try to leave the angle on the 4 on the side, just past the 6,
Right.
now you're on the rail. And if you get straight in, all you can do is follow forward, and then you got to shoot the 3 in another pocket. Doesn't open up the 2 in that pocket because the 1 ball's blocking it. It's actually a lot harder than it looks like right now. He could just play the 13 and just draw back a hair and then play the 1. That's actually a pretty good shot. That's what he's looking at right now. Roll the 1 in, then you get a 3 on the side next. If the angle's there. That's what he's doing. He's coming back a hair. Wow, he cheated that pocket big time.
Yeah, he very well feeling real, for his next shot here. You can see it just.
Yeah, I think actually he was trying to come back maybe to shoot a 4 past the 3.
You're gonna have to have his speed under control here.
Oh wow, he's going to shoot the 6 and he's going to try to manufacture another break ball. He's going to come over and bump the 2 or the 3. That'll work. Nice shot.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you think you have the 1 ball for your break, and then you just get out of line a little bit. Now you're forced to develop a shot, which you did very nicely there.
And it all came down to that he didn't want to force follow that ball with inside. Because remember the last ball he missed was a similar angle. So he's like, let's take that out of play. Make sure we make the shot.
A little adjustment here by Marco. Up a little bit.
Looks good. Let's go for a score line of 70 balls to 41 in favor of Marco Teutscher. I think I'm saying that wrong, but he's coming into it. Looks like he's gonna hit it with a touch of left. On which way he's aiming. Looking to see if he can cut the 7 ball in, and then he can have the cue ball come back up into the 10. All you would have to do is like medium speed there because you're going to have the 12 or the 14 next. If he can see the right side of the 7 in order to cut it in. Of course, if not, forced to shoot the 14. change his glove?
I think so.
Or just reinsert? Off the rail a little bit, so he's got the combo. Does it make it come over to the rail to have the 3 next? Nice if the 15 ball goes now. You can shoot that. That would open up the pocket for the 6. I'm sorry, I think that's the 11 ball below the 6 to 15 is next to that. Angle from which way he was aiming. And then come up into the rack, break him out a little bit, and have a 12 ball. At least that's gotta find a way to get this 15 and 6 apart from each other. Shoot to 12 and try to bump to 11, you could get yourself in trouble. Up to like glance the 11 on the right side, which we're looking, and come up to the middle. That works right there. Because in a worst case scenario, he has the 4 ball up here up table. Gotta maneuver around. Get the 10 and 2 out also. Out moving the 15, so it would be nice to leave the 15 there for a break.
Yeah, really.
It's funny how when it looks easy, sometimes it's not. I guess.
In Vegas.
I think he was there. Yep. Good shot. Came up and now he's got the 2 in the opposite corner. I got the 11 a little bit. It would have been nice to hit the 15 dead flat, and then it would have came up to the middle table. You draw back and try to bump to the 11 or the 15. Then I'll have the 10 or the 1 in the side. 11 ball must go, so you don't have to move it. Hit the 1, 11, 10, and then come up and figure out your patterns with the 4, 8, and 6. Of course, you would like to leave the 6 as your key ball. Then you come off just 1 rail right to the 15. thank all the newcomers out there on the stream for checking in on us and watching. We'll be here today all the way through till Saturday. This is Sean Wilkie in the booth with Jake Lawson. This is the Billiard Sports Network that can be followed on Facebook and also their YouTube channel. We appreciate the support, guys. We're in for a treat this week with some high-class straight pull. Or to get in the booth as much as I can, as long as I'm not playing my matches. Try my best to provide good commentary and knowledge of the game that I've learned throughout the years. Hopefully we see some big runs.
We appreciate you having coming in.
Thank you, Jake. But he landed pretty straight on the way he's acting on the 10. If so, he might be forced to follow below the 11, play the 6 all the way up, or the 11 the other side. Because if not, you're going to have to draw straight back to the rail and come all the way over for the 6. That's what I thought earlier in the rack. I thought he was going to try to get the 11 ball out. When he shot that ball in the side pocket, he could have got the 11 out, 10 out, and then figured all this stuff out later. Yeah, he looks like he's going to... He really doesn't like it because he can't force up to the left slightly, because if he goes too far, he can't make the 11, and if he doesn't go far enough, he wouldn't have an easy shot on the 6. But he's going to force it. Nice shot. Slow down, shoot the 6 all the way up. Nice to have a small angle shooting the 6 all the way up, because you have to come back out for the break ball. Like he's... Wow, he could draw. That was a nice shot. I didn't know he could force under the 15 to get to the 6. Really nice shot. One roll out. Ooh. Thick down the rail, and he's very steep on this break ball.
Yeah, it didn't come as far as he wanted to, that's for sure.
He had a perfect angle, too, just to come off.
Thanks, guys. If you're just tuning in, hopefully we fixed all the audio issues there, so please let me know. Chat. Appreciate you guys.
I feel like this is a shot that you're not supposed to shoot. This is really, really steep. Obviously, make it, you're going to run into the top of the stack, but you can't get enough velocity because you're cutting the ball so much. To easily get that scratch he got earlier in the match where it comes off the stack. But obviously, I don't wish that on anybody, but with this angle, it's a possibility. I feel like the safety play is the right shot here. First off, just making the ball is very tricky, especially on new cloth with a thin cut. Looking, the cue ball is going to hit the 2. It looks like barely. Angle is not going to get
Up from here.
Oof. Love to see him make him get a shot after the rack, and possibly, you know, he's thinking in the back of his mind he only needs under 3 racks. 5, so that's 41. See what I meant? See how the cue ball came towards that side pocket? And it didn't disperse the rack as much. I'm glad he made it, though. Very nice shot. Now what? 8 ball. Is the 8 ball lined up? 6-8. It looks like it's aimed a little bit to the bottom rail. Now he has to shoot the 14, which is another tough. Come back to this side of the table, and all he's going to have is another extreme cut on the 10 in the corner. Nothing else from what I see. 10 ball doesn't go past the 15 in the bottom left corner. 5 ball doesn't go past the right. Obviously, if you shoot the first safety of the match.
Darren played one earlier.
Oh, that's right, and he made the bank. You're right.
Exactly. Doesn't want to turn over the table here. Darren is going to take a quick break.
All right then.
Just saying thank you to Dick Abbott and BilliardQ.com. Awesome, awesome pieces. Really artistic masterpieces. So definitely check him out, BilliardQ.com. Of course, my homeroom. Always a big supporter of BSN events. Brews and Q's on the Boulevard. Out in Pasadena. It's Maryland's premier pool room. Stop by, check it out. Cunningham with Keller Williams. She's come true one home at a time. Of course, definitely check her out. RJG Racing. Partnerships just for a few $100s. You part of the Sport of Kings. Check them out at rjgracing.com. Makes out Billiards Apparel. 20, use the code now and save 20% at checkout. October 7th at midnight. Of course, thank you to PQ Tips. Active Thermal Technology. Check them out at pqbreaktips.com. You can check out. Break. Darren is going to go ahead and play safe here. Oh. Marco.
End ball and play safe back, or just bank it back up table. He was trying to nip it.
He missed the whole ball, Sean.
Yeah, he did. So that's a foul. One foul. Common thing to do in straight pool is to put him back in the same spot because, as I was talking earlier, fouled 2 fouls, but if you have 3 fouls in a row, you obviously then you lose 15 more, and you have to. That player who loses those 15 points would have to re-rack the balls and then shoot a break shots, which is obviously a disadvantage. Or might try to get him to do a 2 foul. First side with the scorekeeping, probably gonna have a couple fouls in a row here. Back.
Takes an intentional foul.
End ball and a shot. Good shot. Aaron can just nip the. He can just hit it pretty full and bank the 10 up to just right about middle table. And leave the cue ball back there on the back rail behind the stack. Unless he wants to nip the right side and leave it on the left side rail and have the cue ball come over to the right side. Gotta do is go down there and make sure there's no dead balls, caroms, that's such, because if you leave opportunity to your opponent, he could obviously break the stack open. right side of the rack. Tells me that the 2 ball does not go past the 11. Could just bank the 2 ball one rail towards the 10 and stick the cue ball right there on top of the rack. As long as you get it on a 13, it's also okay to have the 2 ball come 2 rails over to the left side, because then that wouldn't be able to nip the 13 cue ball on the left. Like that.
Wow.
It's hard for Darren because if he leaves the cue ball on the right side, he can cut the 10 in. Obviously, if he left it on the left side, he's got a shot on the 2. Forced to nip the 11. Don't move it that much. Have the cue ball come to the rail and back into the stack and try to freeze him as tight as you can. Not he's the only other thing. Take another foul. Then Darren would be on the first foul at a disadvantage. Put him down behind the 10. That's also a nice shot.
A lot of back and forth here.
Yeah, I felt like we were going to get into one of these safety battle racks. Dead balls. Marco. Flip the side of the 2 from where he's at. 2 back behind the rack and leave the cue ball up here at top table. And try to leave it back to where it's at. Kind of like putting it up table, so then Darren is. Try to nip the 10 slightly, put it near the 2. It's going to hit the bottom row and stay there, and then just have the cue ball come back up where his tip is. That's very touchy. And I think that's all he has, really. Not to leave a shot, just like that. Outside pocket, he's good. I got one call right.
It's so.
Yeah. Well, sometimes in straight ball, especially in these safety battles, there's most of the time, if you have the knowledge of the game, you've been playing for years, like most of us here have, there's 1 or 2 options. You know, you're trying to nip the ball, leave it behind the rack like he did, or you're trying to leave the cue ball up table with distance. Sometimes you can actually bait a player into a shot, leave him a shot, but make sure you leave him distance or on a rail, because then now he has the opportunity to make a mistake, and then you can get to the table. Looks like Marco's going to take a intentional foul. It looks like he was about to aim to go 1 rail and just land the cue ball on the rack, like kind of near the 6. Bad shot. The only other thing he has is to clip the 11, come back into the rack, but he's going to do what Darren did to him a little earlier. Now he's on the first foul. Here, the only shot is obviously to clip the left side of the 10. Same kind of thing, just kind of have it come to the back of the rack. He's just back to right where he was. This is for a reason, because Marco's on the first foul, so now he's going to be forced to do something. Looks like Darren left him with safety. If the 13 can get to the rail, now the cue ball will just land right on the top of the stack. Right back at it. Yep. Kind of weird. I wonder if that shot was available a minute ago. Wasn't he almost in the same spot a minute ago? Now Darren can't leave the ball on the left side of the table because of 13. Now he's going to have to nip the 4. Try not to leave a shot on the 10 or the 13. Tip over there to see where he needs to leave the cue ball. Very, very touchy shot. He got it there. Did he hit the rail? Mark a foul, so he's good. Properly. Looking to possibly play the 10 rail first, which that's obviously tough because it's not right near the rail. Even if you make it, the cue ball could come past the... Could bump the 13. You don't want to play any dangerous rail shots when you're playing straight pull. Take a foul and bump it up. I think he might have left the 11 ball in the side pocket. Only thing is, it's tricky because you don't want to foul being that close to 11. You obviously can't follow the ball because you probably would foul. Darren's going to have to jack up and draw back. Play the 10 ball next. But when you're jacked up, all you want to do is like a real short jab stroke. Don't foul. Just bring it back. About like he came enough for the 10. Come over and make sure he leaves himself a little angle on the 2. Corner, have the cue ball come up into the 8 and disperse the rack a little bit. Get a little bit tighter if Darren can get through this rack and get to a break shot. Only 40 balls away, so that's 3 racks.
Yes, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. I mean, even though Darren's been down relatively the whole match, opportunity to get back in it right here.
Yeah. Left himself tight into him there. Guess he's got the 8 in the side, but I mean, same kind of thing a minute ago. It's hard to follow without fouling, and you need to come up a little bit to be able to shoot the 13 next. Anything else, if he was to make the 8. Spots you don't want to be in when you're playing straight pull. Up for the side pocket. These shots are very hard to read because you're trying to cut it slightly, but the cue ball is so near the 8, you actually can't see your contact point on the 8. So a lot of us will undercut it or possibly overcut it depending on what spin you're using. I really don't like this because he's not going to get any action. If he makes it, the cue ball's going to hit the 6 and stop, so he may not even get to the 13. So almost not even a bonus on making it. Stick right there. That's right, a good. There. That's a good shot. I like that. Or you could just go one rail, two up here, leave it on the back rail, and leave it right there. That's a good shot too. I do think this is a little dangerous. Just because.
Hold save.
There we go. He's just pick it in and come up. Sometimes you got to force yourself mentally to be strong and say, all right, I'm going to outrun him in the safety battle, and I'll have an easier shot later instead of a tough shot in the side.
Well, you know, he's kind of hate to do that after getting stable and
true.
Now you have to place back to you.
Playing this ball cross corner, this is an all-out shot to try to win the match. You can just nip the 13 and come to the middle of the back rail.
Yeah.
As long as you don't leave the 7, you're good. Wow, good play safe. Darren is loving that he's even taken the opportunity to shoot this shot. Short. Got it right, Jake? Two. Oh, Marco's on a foul, so maybe their score is right. Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Several open shots here.
Yep. Got some work to do with them balls near the rack, but like to have a angle on the 12 after making one of these two shots.
Back since the 8 pocket. This would be that.
He's got to play the 3-5 combo. Must be pretty straight in. Like if he gets the 14 out of the way, the one ball goes past the 9 in the other corner. Gets a perfect angle on that. He can just roll in and bump the 4 and 9. Have to manufacture a break shot too.
Darren would table. Keep Marco.
How he landed on it actually looks really nice from my angle. Yep, just gonna bump the 4 a little bit. 6 ball's probably going to come out if he gets enough energy. Got the 4 ball out. Perfect. Leave the 7 and 8 up here because he can play the 7 and then have an angle on 8 just to come one rail back to middle table for the 4. Really stunned that one.
Kind of open up the stroke just a little bit.
Yeah,
With all
you
the
can tell
balls
he's
so
probably been
close
a little
together.
frustrated with all of them together for the last
he's been sitting
20 minutes.
for a long time. Lining up here.
Right around parallel with where it's laying would be nice. Good. Got 81 on the score. We got 82. Alright, Darren's got a good angle. Cue ball's going right into the top of the stack. The 5 ball, just straight high or a touch of right. Touch of right, just glance right off the top. Ball in the corner. You can shoot this and come right into him if you wanted to, or just roll it in and play the 10 next. He's going to come back up to the middle. 7 ball goes past. If it's safe to shoot this 1. I mean, you can disperse the balls, but probably smart to get the balls out below. Shoot the 15, go get the 12 and 10 out, and then get back up above them. He could shoot the 5 ball right now, but he's a little bit farther away. He can go shoot the 5, go into the 6. Have the 7, 9, or 15. It looks like he's going to go down below the rack.
Now he wants to.
Yeah, he's got to get into the bottom of this rack somehow. Oh, maybe he's shooting 5 in the side. Have the cue ball go into the 1 with high English. That would be a good shot, but you just got to make sure you got a good angle on the 5. Playing the 13. Yeah, he's playing. Seven tied up. Possibly, or the 9. It's hard to see. Can he make the 9? Even if you can make it, though, all you can do is spin it and then play the 12 next down rail, and still got problems. He has no insurance balls if you come into the bottom of them. There's nothing down there to save him. Could be forced, if he can't make the 9, he's going to have to play this ball that's up table. Oh, he's got to come back to middle table or farther to have the exact opening for the 9, or you come all the way back down to the left side, middle diamond, 12. Not easy from here.
Yeah.
Very touchy if he's trying to land right in the spot to get the 9 ball next. Yeah, so he went ahead and tried to get down to the 12. Quick bathroom break, Jake. I'll be back.
Yeah. Back at the table after by Darren Appleton. Marco misses. Unbelievable. Pocket the ball and come in, and Aaron back at the table. Evan is tied up.
Alright then. I'm back.
Sean Wilkie back.
What happened?
Left. Now Darren back at the table.
Wow. I was wondering because I just saw Appleton shooting.
Bottom ball that was on the bottom.
Oh, 12.
Stack,
yep.
Yeah, the 12. Good.
Jeez. Darren's got an easy pattern here. 7-6 break ball. Match closer in scoreline.
Higher match.
Group stages we just started today. We're here at the straight pool championships. I'm so used to the years back in the day when it was the Maryland straight pool championships, and Peter Burris had changed it to American, which I like that because now he can go to different states and find the best venues. We're obviously here at Q Masters Billiards. Got a nice little room here in the back with all diamond tables. I believe there's 14 of them with brand new Simona's cloth. John Wilkie and Jake Lawson in the booth, bringing you guys exciting straight pool.
Your button. See popping in there. How you doing?
Ice cream, man. Good speed. I like how he used the outside English, just came off one rail, nice and soft. He almost got doubled up, like the 8-14-2 don't go, but the look does look like the one ball escapes through to the corner. Well, with the angle he has, he's going to be forced to try to follow through these balls and take a chance at getting something, because there's no insurance ball. That's what I thought he was going to do. Push through them and open them up. Sure does. I mean, he's got the 12, 7 in the side. He's got the 9. If you shoot the 9, now you got to pick your speed because you got to bump that ball that's next to it. 12 come up, bump the 12, 14. Opens it up there to have the 2. I can't tell if he could hold it if the 10 ball goes past the 13. That would be his next shot, or he's just going to come back across. Oh. Got the 4 ball, and then you come one rail up into the 5 or 15. Bumps those balls loose a little bit. Hitting the 15 would have been ideal, but this still works. Got plenty of opportunities. Now here, you don't want to just roll this and try to have the 10 next because of the issue of new cloth. He's probably got to come up, get the set. If the 7 ball goes past the 9, that's what he's looking at. He could shoot that next, or if he comes up a little bit farther, it does look like the 5 ball goes past. As long as you leave it in between the 7 and 8, the cue ball. So come up 2 rails, touch it inside. 7 or the 5 next, just like that. Obviously got 3 opportunities for break balls here. He's got 3 ball, 8 ball, 14. End pattern play is probably going to be pretty simple after he gets the last couple loose down here. Play the 5. 11, come up 1 rail. Looks like the 9 ball goes past if you're in.
Options there. In your head, have you already decided which one you want?
I don't think so. I mean, you still have the opportunity based on the balls below the rack. A lot of times for right-handed players, we're going to choose the balls on the left side. I would say 70% of the time, unless the right side has an easy key ball, which he doesn't. He has no balls near the side pocket.
Right.
So he went ahead and knocked that out based on where the 9 ball was. So now that opens those up. Really comes down to just trying to stay composed and figure out the proper pattern play to where it's simple for you not to move the cue ball a lot.
Right.
Obviously, we're all going to make mistakes here and there, but for the most part, we're going to try to stay smart and limit our angles and cue ball movement. Like here, I don't know if he's straight in on the 8 and the side. If he is, it would be nice because he could shoot that now, stop the ball, have the 11, 10, 5, or 14 last. A lot of times players, when you get the cue ball near the middle of the rack, where it's at in the triangle, if you go down and look, sometimes you're dead straight in on a shot in the side pocket, which the side pockets actually at that angle are bigger than the corners. So if it's a stop shot, it's okay to just shoot that, and then you have other opportunities. He's still looking at that angle, so he's going to do the same thing, try to come back and get to that spot for the 8 and the side. Now because the 5 ball is closer to the rack, he'll probably use that ball. Break. Almost overrolled that.
Gonna draw back now.
Yep. Good. Yep, that gets our match right neck and neck, 81 to 80.
Wow, what a close match we have here.
This is going to come down to which player makes the least mistakes in the next. See, we got 40. Each player needs about 43, 44. So at the most, we could have 6 more racks. It was to go neck and neck all the way down to 125.
A little bit about what we were talking about earlier. I mean, even if Marco's really been in control the whole time. A couple mistakes, and he's allowed Darren to climb back into the match here.
Yep.
Trails by 1.
Darren went over to get his extension because he's reaching. Now because he's reaching, he's probably just gonna hit this medium speed and not do too much. He tried to draw it, and the cue ball's coming all the way up table. Dangerous. And he's got the 4. Obviously he could shoot the 15, but you're bridged off the rail. Looks like the 11-8 is doubled up, so he can't make either one of them. Well, you can hit it with middle. Obviously just follow it if you're just rolling it. You gotta be careful with that, or you can just stun it. Medium stroke and just have the cue ball hit the 6. High, it's gonna go to the bottom rail. Balls will open up a little bit. Like that. Gotta figure out and work around things. Ball. Use the 15 to get back into the stack. If you come up here near the side, have an angle. Just look to see if the 10 ball went past into the same corner he's shooting. Gonna go 2 rails and land on the 11 ball on the side, I think. That's what he just pointed at. Not, you come up 2 rails like I was saying before and play the 15. That'll work. If the 10 ball goes past, he's probably going to play the 10 next. Bump them balls a hair, not too hard. Jostle them loose, and then have the 8 ball next. We can stun up and get a nice angle on the 15 and go right back into him with high English. They're going to open up a lot easier because there's only half the balls left. A lot of times when you have the whole rack with high English, you really got to add a stroke to it because there's so much energy with the balls connected.
Sure. Take a look now. It's always interesting when you see, a lot of times, exactly where he's going to hit the other balls, exactly, and where each ball's going to go.
Nice. Took the angle and just let the cue ball come right back. And he had the 15 as the insurance, which it looks like he needed because now the balls are tied up.
Pocketed 2 balls on that.
Nice find. Did you hear it go in or you saw it go in?
Both.
15, he's going to just draw and shoot the 8 next. Going into the 3 ball there could have been dangerous. It looks like you're guaranteed a shot. If those 2 balls go down to the bottom rail and then you follow down at the same time, now you have no shot on the balls on the right side of the table. He would have liked to be straight in on the 8, but he's got a small angle. He might have to just roll down and bump the 1 slightly, then shoot the 2 next. Then make sure you get an angle on 11 to run into the 6-9. Bump that 1 just a hair. Try to draw into these 2 balls. You have to get a shot. Got there and made 2 ball. Looks like he's got enough angle. Can he run into the 6 shooting an 11? Hell. I'm sorry, that's the 13. B.
It looks like he...
Gotta be able to nip it, or he's not gonna have a shot. Oof. I didn't think he could nip it a lot. See, now he doesn't have a shot on either one of these 3 balls except for the 3 ball up here. A little bit higher would have been nice.
He doesn't want to have to play the 3 here.
No, he doesn't, but it looks like he's forced to now. And he doesn't really have a break shot. Speak of. He's going to have to come around 1, 2, 3 rails. A little bit farther down where he's at, like a diamond farther, to have the 5 ball next. Or possibly the 6. That's it. That's all he's got. Just had Danny Brody come up to the booth, and he says if we need him for the next match, he's available. He's one hell of a knowledgeable straight pull mind, so that'll be giving me a break if you want to bring him into the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Gonna have some stories though, very funny ones. You saw what he did earlier, right?
Oh yeah.
Great guy though. I like Don. I mean Danny. Sorry.
Rails down to this? Oh, he tried to go. Wow, Sean.
Yeah, he tried to go 4 rails down to the 5 instead of just the 3 natural. Well, Marco's gonna have to stretch and take advantage.
Really had control, and then just fortunate not before the 3.
Yeah, he didn't hit the 6. He barely nipped the 6, or they would have opened up. Can't tell if he held it enough angle to try to bump the 9 ball out. Yeah, he's got enough. He's gonna have to stiff it though. Stun the cue ball a good bit. Bump the 9 up to the left side of the rack. How do we say this guy's last name again? Teutscher. For all your newcomers to the stream, we got Marco Teutscher.
He did say it was German.
From the Netherlands, playing on the live stream table here against Darren Appleton. Here at the 2019 American Straight Pool Championships. John Wilkie and Jake Lawson in the booth. We're at Q Masters Billiards. really hope you guys enjoy the knowledge and stream we provide as these two players are battling back and forth to try to get their first win in our group stages here out of 6 matches total. Obviously, every win does count. In the end, it could be this one match that brings these players into the qualifying round. And didn't have a lot of angle there, so he had to force down and hit the corner ball, but now he's got a tough shot. 4 in top right corner. Let's see if he makes it and holds to the side rail, he could have the 5. Or if it goes even up a little bit higher up towards the side pocket, he's going to have the 7. A lot of work to be done, though. Go play safety. Bank the 4 ball up table, back down towards the 7. Stick the cue ball right there on the 12. You just got to be careful. If you don't get it frozen on the 12, you can leave a cut on the 5 for Darren.
Definitely has to be careful here.
Now he's aiming up like he's going to play the 4. Nope. Debating. Give another quick shout out to Marco's sponsors, the Molinari Q's, Force Sport, and Massey Club in New Zealand. Sure, he's taken this long trip overseas from the Netherlands, probably playing in this American Straight Pool and then the International Open right after this. Is also in the nearby area in Norfolk, Virginia.
Actually, his name is German, but Marco's name, but says that he hails from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Netherlands flag up there, guys. And he went for it, and he
Went
missed.
for the 4 in the opposite corner and missed. Wow, Darren's definitely happy and fortunate to get back to the table so shortly these last couple times.
Now it's got even, a better open shot here on.
Yeah.
It's by Marco.
I'm sure Darren in the back of his mind is saying, I can't let this guy back to the table. I only need 24 balls. No, I'm sorry, 8, 9, plus 25, 34 balls. Oh, the balls are nicely spread open now. 2 balls to break, probably. It's a little low, but for now it's his opportunity, unless he manufactures another one in the middle somehow. That's what he just tried to do there with the 14. If he would have bumped the 14 up a hair, another opportunity. He could still use the 14 if it was near the rail.
Aaron painting table here. Everything's open, nothing's touching. So all he's got to do is just navigate through the rack here. Let's see, bumps those balls. Still gonna have a shot though.
No, he can play the 3 in the side right now. I could tell the players are slightly over rolling balls, obviously because of the new cloth. It's it's slick. You gotta be careful when especially when you're stunning balls and trying to get the reaction right off that first rail. It's just gonna come off a little, I would say extra wide instead of flat. And a lot of players that haven't been here recently, it's going to take a little bit of adjustment. Just like there, I think he was coming up and he was going to try to bump the 13, and it came off, like I said, a little bit to the right. He ended up hitting a 3. I'm not sure that was his plan. That was good speed there coming across. He should have the 3. We can stop for the 12. Or play the 6 next on the side. There you go. 12, come up 1 rail. 13, same corner. 6 on the side, and 14 is going to be the break. A little bit higher would have been perfect.
Hey, he did come up a little short there.
I thought he was going to come up 1 rail, but he chose to go 2. And like I said, the ball is extending wider than usual. Forced it over and through, and I think he's fine. Now here you want to leave yourself as much angle as you can because of how far the 14's. Oh, he went too far. Now he's got a shallow angle. He can get to the rack, but see, with this angle, you lose momentum of the cue ball. So even if he does hit the rack, he's not going to get a lot of action out of the corner of the rack.
Right.
Really going to have to juice this. You can see him. I just saw him smirking about the angle, so see what he does.
Oh, he got bad.
Wow, he tried to go to the back of the other side. Nice shot. I don't think he came up with anything, though. 13 ended up blocking the shot, the angle of the 3 in the side. And it looks like the 7 is blocking the 5 in the corner, too. Man, tough roll.
Each player going back and forth. Buddy really has been run away with it in this match.
Now, because as we see on our scoreboard here, our high run of the match is 34. It's something that you wouldn't expect with these caliber players. Darren's going to have to find a safety. He playing the 5 ball in the corner? I think he is. He overcut it.
Wow.
And looks like Marco's going to take his break. So that'd be 1 break each per player. And we'll get through a couple sponsors for you.
So Marco back from his break. Guys, we see all your comments in the chat. Appreciate it. Realize there's a table on the other end, so there's no way to set up a camera. So we'll try to make an adjustment for day 2 for everybody tomorrow, as we probably won't have enough time between matches today. If we can work something out.
It's got a good angle on the 15. Just go into the top of the 6 with draw. Or touch a right. 6 will break them open. 12 ball's going to bounce out. I'll have the 13 on the opposite side. That's his insurance. And I'm sure a couple other shots as they disperse.
Up next, guys, we're going to see Torsten Holman versus Yanni Sikinen. Should be a good matchup. And then the last match of the evening, starting around probably about 6 o'clock, we'll see Albin Ocean versus Ruslan Chinahoff. Lots of great matches. We're going to be here all week till Saturday. We have the semifinals and finals on Saturday. So excited to see some world-class pool.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And I'm sure as the tournament goes along, as all the players get used to the new cloth, we'll see some higher runs and some quality play. You know, we're all going to have these days where we're struggling. You know, especially first match. It can happen to any of us. So I have a feeling though Thorsten will probably be in rare form.
He's
the next
playing
match.
great. Yeah, he's playing great. Just snapped off the Steinway Classic, then wins the NYC 8-Ball Championship.
Yeah, he's playing
Just
great.
came off a win before there. I mean,
just played very well at Turning Stone recently in August. I think he got third or fourth. I remember because I played him on the winner's side and I had a opportunity to get there. I didn't. I hung a ball and he played great to come back on me. Kudos to him. And I truly root for Thorsten. He's a class act, you know, especially when it comes to straight pool. You're not going to find a better player when it comes to straight pool, especially for a German player. You know, obviously we got John Schmidt here, the record holder. But when it comes to World Straight Pool Championships titles, Thorsten is right up there with all the tops back in the day. You know, Willie Mosconi, Ralph Greenleaf. You know, Thorsten's got a different style, but, you know, he makes it work for him.
Thorsten's, a 5-time world straight pool champion?
I believe so. I know it's at least 4. It could possibly be 5.
So, of course, he's no stranger to this game, and we'll get up close and personal look next match. So excited about that.
Yeah, he's a 4-time Dragon Promotions 14-1 champion, and he's won this one here, the Maryland, when it was considered the Maryland Open Straight Pool in 2013.
Mick, that's a great analogy. So many players here can get to the end.
As we're speaking, Marco is staying steady, getting through this rack. No real big issues. I mean, he's got the 1 and 11 on the back rail. Those are the ones you want to make sure you get to. Like the combos land pretty straight on the side. Go ahead and play that now. Use high English, just come off one rail. I have the 3 in the same corner, the same side, or the 15 in the other side.
Looks like John Schmidt is actually getting ready to start his match against Raymart Lim.
What is this in the stands?
Local player here from Virginia Beach.
He said he's trying to view the live stream. That's not going.
Sorry guys, we were just talking to a few people next to us. My buddy Mike Fingers, Mike Badstubner, just played his first match and he was just giving me a thumbs up that he won. Good for him, he's done for the day. Nice shot there by Marco. 1, 2, 3 rails around to the 1 ball in the corner. Then he'll have the 11. Get a good angle on the 11, then come up one rail. Play this. Looks like he's going to play the 7 in the side. If not, he'd have to go up 2 rails because of the shallow angle on the 11, and then have the 9 or the 7. That's what he did. He went 2 rails. Now he's got the probably shoot the 7. Got a good angle to come back across and have the 9 ball as a break. Shot.
Want to do? If you want to go now, I'll jump in. If you want to. It's fine.
I was just talking to Danny Baruti. He's going to be coming in the booth for our next match, which you said was who, Thorsten?
Thorsten Holman and Yanni Zekinen.
Okay. That'll be right at the end of this match, because I just heard them announce the 3:30 round for all the other tables that are here. I'm not sure if this is our only match still playing in the first round or not. Nice shot there. Like how he gave that a little bit extra energy to try to get the balls dispersed, because these boats have been struggling with them staying connected the last few racks. Only needs 2 racks and the match could be over. 26 balls.
Saw that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is here.
Yep, David Alcade also. I believe they're
Alcade,
both
yeah.
from Spain. He's going to play the 12. He can come into the 2 or even the 6. Just come right into him. Medium speed. Well, he ended up hitting the 14. Still okay. As long as he has the 2 ball or the 7 inside. Obviously, if he could leave the 2, it's in a nice spot. Sometimes you're forced to shoot it. You can always leave the 14 as a break, but it's really far away from the stack, so you don't want to do that. Not forced to. Good shot on the 7 in the side. He's going to clear out the 14 and 8, I would think. He's got the 3 ball. Be nice if the 6 ball went past the 1, because then he could shoot the 6 before the 3. Get the 3 out afterwards, shoot the 1. Taking his time because he wants to try not to make any more mistakes and clear this match out. 25 balls to go. Like he landed perfectly on the 6 ball. Five on the side. Now if he wanted to, just play the 1 and pinch it. Play the 3 ball next. Goes to go up table. and try to take out the 4 and 11 ball while he's up here. Leave yourself an angle on the 11 so you can come back down table towards the middle or over to the side rail to get the 8 ball. He's going to go 2 rails to the 8. Looks good. Give yourself an angle, play the 10 ball next, come back up 1 rail. Play the 3 in the corner. If you come even farther, you can play the 5 ball in the corner after the 10.
Been a long match, Sean. 2 hours and 15 minutes thus far.
Yeah, it sure has.
Marco in prime position to get out of this match.
Yeah, if he can get the rest of these balls, he only needs, I think 1 rack, right?
Yep.
Ooh, that was a little short. He was trying to get the 5 ball next in the same corner. Now he's going to have to shoot 15. They're going to have to try to hold it or punch over a little bit to get an angle on the 5 in the other hole. It's hard to tell if he's straight on the 15. These are the ones that I myself need to remind. Well, on the new cloth, normally you can like kind of cheat this with a stun and slide the ball in.
Yeah.
But the cue ball is going to come off, so you got to be careful when the object ball is going farther down the table. If it's close to the pocket, it's okay. But when it's going farther, it can veer off at times. So you really want to limit your spin on the cue ball. Just take your angle with middle ball, make the shot, and if you got a steeper angle on the next ball, it's okay. He was pretty straight, so it worked out.
Top shot. Perfect position for the 3.
Right. Yeah, Danny was telling me behind me we would come over to the other side. Yep. Now he's got to use a little bit of inside and come up 1 rail across the angle. It's not common, but he hit it good. It looks like he actually needs a little bit more than another rack. Is that right? Where are we at? I was right. Yeah, we need 13 to get the 125. So this is a big shot here. Make the break ball. Cue ball's going into the, looks like the bottom of the 5 or the 5 pretty flat. So gotta be careful not to get too much draw on this ball. Just want to
112 to 105, guys.
basically stun it with a touch of high. Just pop it right off the 5 ball, just like that. Now you just stay composed, 1 ball at a time, and get to the finish line. Got the 6 ball and come off 1 rail and shoot the 12 ball next. If the 10 ball goes, he can even shoot that right now. Roll in, bump the 8. Turns balls to 12 that's hanging right there in the hole.
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry, you gotta go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, Marco made the 10. He's got the 11. I'm sure he's in countdown mode in the back of his mind. He knows he's at 112 and he needs pretty much this whole rack. He needs 13 balls, so that means there would be 2 left on the table. Trying to make sure he gets as many open and away from each other so you don't have to do anything drastic. Got the 6 ball. He can shoot the 14. Next, come up 1 rail. Looks like the 11 ball goes past the 7 in the corner. And after he clears that out, he'll have the 8 and 15 in the corner where he's going to shoot the 14. I believe the 3 ball goes in the corner if he has to shoot it, but like I was saying, he only needs 13 balls, so theoretically he could leave the 3 and 9 last on the table and win the match at 125. Gotta come up, get a nice angle on the 11. Hard to tell. I think he could be good. Be straight in. If not, he can just pinch it. He can even have the cue ball run into the 8, bounce it down a little bit because he's got the 1 ball on the side. Even if the 8 was to go down and get below the 15 where he couldn't make it, still would have the 1 ball in the side pocket. Straight in, it's perfect. You just stop the cue ball.
It's stop doing it. Yeah, it's
Like Marco is going to be favored to out of this match here.
He should be. You just gotta get the 13-7-1 out. That's all. And they're open. Last problem. Well, as I'm about to be out of the booth, I'd like to just take a quick shout out for a couple of my sponsors that helped me get to
Absolutely.
this event. Obviously, my man Jake Lawson here, from CEO of Lights Out Billiards Apparel, Brews and Q's Boulevard. They were nice enough to pay my entry for this tournament, so I appreciate them. That's in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Tony Manning and the family. Of course, Rayman Walters, a tip mechanic, Midlothian, Virginia. Blackheart Tips, Teutscher Gloves, and I think I forgot one. I can't remember the last one.
Lucasi.
Lucasi, how'd you let me forget that? Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. I'm out here playing my heart out, especially I'm excited for this fall season coming back. I'm coming back strong. I I did take a small time off in the summer, but that was just me personally because of staying outside. But I'm back in full stride. Let's do this. Finish this match off.
I think so.
I think he's gonna leave that 3 and 9, like I said, because he don't need them. Nope, bumped it out. Seven, 9 ball match. And that's it. Congratulations to Marco Teutscher from the Netherlands. It was his first match in the group stage against Darren Appleton, so we'll see both of these guys again. Wish them luck, and thank you, Jake, for getting me in the booth.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll be bringing you up next match, Thorsten Holman versus Yanni Sikkinen. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.